Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sessions with Koren. Last week, the world celebrated Valentine's Day, and I can only imagine what a beautiful time some of you had. Between the music, the chocolates, the teddy bears, the wine, and everything else that I'm not going to mention on TV. Well, love and relationships are important to, I would say, everyone. Some of us might have sworn off romantic relationships because of bad experiences, but I think we all have a desire to give and to receive love. And this is my focus of this episode, relationships. What makes them work? What do men want? What do women want? In studio with me today, I have a special guest. He has been a counselor for quite a number of years and has had experience in couples counseling. Stay tuned. Call your friends who you know would enjoy this topic, and we will answer some of your most burning relationship questions right after the break. Welcome back. My guest today is Mr. Sidney Reteymer. Sidney is a father of 3, a mentor for young adults, and he presently works at the American University of Antigua in the Counseling Center. He achieved his master's in mental health psychology from the University of Liverpool and was also awarded the status of a registered addiction specialist in 2014. Sidney believes that most of his understanding today is derived out of his personal experiences, his strength, and hope that has connected him with the art of living. He enjoys working with people and achieving therapeutic alliances to achieve better psychological health. Sidney, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Koren. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, and I'm happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, this is one of our most important topics today, relationships.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Because I think the world is, it doesn't evolve without relationship. And though one of the most controversial topics when it comes to relationship, I think it's quite a healthy way to understand what it's all about.
Absolutely, and necessary.
That's right.
So viewers, just before we started, I gave Sidney a little assignment. It was impromptu. We distributed some paper, and Sidney is supposed to put on his paper, same as me, what are the 3 top things we think women want and the top 3 things we think men want. So let's compare notes, Sidney. What do you have for what women want?
Okay. Very interestingly, you said impromptu, right?
Yes, because we didn't plan this.
It was impromptu, correct? So for the top of my head,
yes.
Right? Onto this broad-based topic, the 3 I came up with is number 1, intimacy. And when I say intimacy, more think of into-me-see. I think that's what women want.
Yes.
Right? They love when they are seen internally. Right? I mean, it comes with, of course, the love and everything with that. And number 2, I had security. Women want security. And number 3, assurance.
Assurance. Okay, great. For mine, I had honesty, that women want a man to be honest with them or their partner. Women want communication, and they want someone who's confident. And that goes in with your security aspect. If you're unsure about life and you don't know what you're doing, then that will affect the stability and the security of the relationship. And I also had love. I took a bonus. And I love the intimacy part. We want to be seen and valued for who we are.
Right. Yeah,
yes. So even though answers might be different, they're kind of close. All right. So let's go to men.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's go to men. And viewers, as you listen to us, you can put your comments in the chat. What do you think women need most from a relationship? And what do you think men most need? So what do you have for men, Sydney?
Interesting. What we left off with is what I'm going to begin with. Love.
Love.
Yes, men need love.
Okay.
I have lots of male friends, and one of the things that it's the underlying tone of the conversation and what they want. Right? It's about love. Maybe not accurately described.
Okay.
But men need love.
Okay.
All right. Number 2, sex.
Okay.
Right? Men do need sex. And number 3, I have respect.
Respect. All right. Okay, so for mine, I have sex and physical touch as number 1. Where you have as number 2, I have that as number 1. Number 2, I have respect, and that was your number 3.
Number 3, yes, that's right.
And for number 3, I had exclusivity. They want to be the only one. If they're in a romantic relationship with you, they don't want to have to share. So
definitely, yes. Men are territorial in that sense. Maybe that's how we were built, but that is just something a man looks forward to in terms of being in that exclusive thing. And it's really good coming from the opposite side, from the feminine side.
Okay, great. So it's nice that we're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
What men and women want. And that's a question that could take 6 hours to discuss.
Yes. It's a lifetime to discuss.
A lifetime. Okay. So getting on to the most important aspects of relationship now. What do you think are the key factors that make a relationship work? We must start with that.
And as I thought of what you just asked about the key factors of relationship, you know, my mind goes back to a study they had, and I'll be really quick with this, all right? And they actually came up with 7 points as to what makes a relationship work. Right? And in this study, they took a sample of, I think it's about 25 people who have been together for about 40 years plus, asked them questions, and of course, based on the psychological analysis of these questions, they came up with these findings.
Okay.
Right? What do you believe was number 1 on the list? Values and morals. I thought that was interesting, right? And if we really do look at it, we look at the other, say for instance, when it comes to a religious belief, let's use that for an example. You know, there's a commonality in a religious belief. People do, based on the belief, right? People do, because of the values within their belief system, when they're together, churches call it equally yoked, and they're more together because of that belief, right? The second was the subconscious image, meaning that the person I presented to you first, it was maintained throughout that relationship, right? And what they found out as well from these couples, that they were compatible in how they were going to raise their kids.
Okay.
Right? Another aspect that was in is what we spoke about earlier: respect. Respect was in that was in that number as well. And the fifth one was appreciation. How they showed appreciation to each other. What do you think number 6 was?
Communication or sex?
Love.
Love.
Love was number 6.
Love. Okay.
Yeah, the most powerful force in that equation on that list. And number 7 was looks.
Looks?
Looks was number 7.
Yes.
But interestingly, I think that the human nature is that we flip that equation upside down, where you look at looks come first, and then there's a feeling.
Yes.
Right? And based on that feeling, then we try to match all the bits. So you can have a relationship where people strongly love. They love each other, they love each other, but then yet still there are disagreements. There is anger, there is, volatile issues between them, even violence. Because I may love you, but I don't respect you.
Okay.
I don't appreciate you. or our values are different.
Okay. So it's like a cake.
It
You have
is
to have
like a
all the
cake.
ingredients for it
Correct.
to taste good. You can't have one and not the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
but you know, you talked about people might be having some things and not some. Talking about conflicts, conflicts will come up in a relationship no matter how much you love each other.
Correct.
How do we manage conflict in a relationship so that both parties come out feeling heard and that they can work towards a resolution?
Yeah, conflicts, I find it's very necessary.
Okay.
It's very necessary. I think what is the issue is how we go around, as you said, go around solving these conflicts, right? How we able to better communicate it. Something about the human nature and, you know, just existing, you know, and you put two people together, you know, things will come up.
Of course.
Yeah? And sometimes there are always these little annoyances that happen within relationship that just never discussed. So if we have a build-up upon a build-up, you know, what happened, you know, for some relationship one time, it blows up.
Yes, of
right?
course, and that's
It
like a
creates the
mountain
rift.
between you.
That's right. And I think that's where communication comes in. And communication is also beyond the voice. You know? It's with the actions, it's the things we do. Right? I was reading sometime, which I thought was very interesting, the different styles of dealing with conflicts. And one of it was, they were describing it actually. The first one was more, the aggressive one. We could be very volatile, right? And then there's the other section where I know that this is what has happened, and I have forgiven you for it, but of course it's the space of time. We never got a chance to talk about it, right? And then there's the assertive part in which, the individuals are able to sit down and talk about their conflicts. That's what happened. And I believe that is key. How best are we able to sit and have a dialogue, have a conversation with these little annoyances, the things that happen, and to be emotionally intelligent enough to say, honey, this is how I feel.
Yes.
Not basically attacking the individual, but just sharing how they feel.
I like that, because sometimes if I keep going into a relationship and I keep saying you, the person feels attacked, they start defending themselves and we never make any progress. But that approach you mentioned, not being aggressive but being assertive, this is how I feel, the person gets a chance to respond without feeling attacked.
Correct, that's right.
Okay, one of the biggest sources of conflict in relationships I've noticed is persons cheating, stepping out of the relationship, flirting. Can trust be rebuilt after an affair, or after an affair should they just call it quits? Because you're going to be suspicious of the person maybe, and then the person can't get a break. Everything they do, you're going to keep throwing it in their face maybe. After an affair, can trust really be rebuilt? Can two people get back together?
I believe so.
You believe so?
I believe that
You're
trust
an
can be
optimist.
rebuilt. I'm an optimist that trust can be rebuilt in relationships. I mean, I think we've seen it across, the globe where, people have said that things have happened. Maybe looking at our parents.
Okay.
My mom and dad are together today, and sometimes, it's refreshing to admire them. They behave like two young lovers.
Okay.
Right? Have conflicts of mistrust happen in their relationship. I'm sure it has happened. But they get along quite well.
Okay.
Right? Now, I think what we were talking about earlier when it comes to the topic of relationship, right? And maybe that's what makes it controversial, right? When it comes to relationship, because it's sometimes it just boils down to the individual.
Okay.
And how are we able to approach our relationships, right? What I find is very significant, Koren, is the memory of it, of whatever that created that fracture, it doesn't leave us.
Okay.
When trust is restored is because that memory is more or less desensitized, meaning that I see it, but it's not able to affect my emotions.
Okay.
And what has allowed people to reach to that place, right, is truly significant.
Okay.
Right? We could father time, assurance, respect, love, and not repeating whatever caused the fracture again.
Okay. So even though we forgive, we're not going to forget.
That's right.
But over time, the memory hopefully will fade, and you can replace them with new memories.
New memories, fresh memories.
Yes,
Right?
okay. And but it's important that we not throw it up in the person's face. If I say I forgive you, I should not be bringing it up every week or every time I can't find you.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming you're doing the same thing over and
Absolutely.
over again.
Absolutely.
Yes, that one is a little ticklish, but it's possible for people, as you said, to move on after.
That's
Communication, respect, assurance.
Yeah, because remember, it's like a trauma, you know.
Yes,
right?
it
so
is
it's
trauma,
there.
of
It is
course.
there, and we live with it. But the thing is, you know, how can we cause it to lose its power is what really matters, and that's where forgiveness comes in. Right? Not
I
only
love
from
that.
the person,
Yes.
not only from the individual who's experiencing it, right? But from what the other party, because the two are now one, what the other party does in order to give that reassurance, and eventually people do heal. And healing, again, I like to say, doesn't mean the memory will go away, but
Yes.
of course I don't relive the memory.
Okay.
Right? And
I like
think
that.
expresses.
I like the fact that you talk about the time and you're saying the power of, looking forward. One of the things I've discovered in our society that helps or that distracts or takes away from persons rebuilding are other people reminding. Sometimes the two persons might make a decision. We are going to forget this and move forward. But you have friends and you have other people and you go on social media and people are posting things, or all men are dogs, or this or that or the other. And by the way, males and females sometimes do cheat. What I want to know, with all this rise in social media right now, does that really affect relationships?
That's a very, very tough question, Koren. Because whereas I'm initially tempted to say yes, it does, which we know it does, right? We could also look at the flip side in which, how many relationships has it helped to foster and to be better? I've known of couples who would go to, use social media in order to enhance their relationship.
Okay.
Right? I guess because when it comes to the whole fact of mistrust and technology and social media and what it does, right, it's more of what it does to the individual, right? That is it. Say, for instance, a person is hooked on social media, right? What are the ramifications that could occur there, right? Not giving the other partner enough time, right? Also, too, is what's been filtered in the whole mentality of the individual. One of the things you and I could agree with, Koren, is how much social media could influence a person's emotions
Yes.
and behaviors. Right?
So
and
much.
we could think about that.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes people compare themselves when they see other persons.
Exactly.
And the one you mentioned in terms of spending too much time on social media, imagine you bringing your phone to bed, your partner's there, and you're just playing all night, and somebody's sitting there wanting a lot of affection, that can be really, really tricky.
Yes. No time to talk.
Yes.
No time to communicate.
Yes. Well, I'm going to let you end off how you started. You started off giving us some guidelines on what makes a relationship work. I want for you to tell our viewers now, if you want to enhance your romantic relationship, do these 3 things this week. Just give them 3. I like the number 3. We started off with 3. Tell our viewers, what are 3 things you can do right now to make your romantic relationship better?
Usually I feel that we have good intentions when it comes to relationships. I heard a friend say years ago, good intentions don't always get us into heaven. Right? Love is an action word. So if we're going to talk about it's still love. Right? And that love comes with action. What is it can I do? Right? And it's not necessarily looking, to give without expectations.
Okay.
Right? Because this is what I'm going to give into my relationship, give to my partner. So I would say, love.
Okay, that's one.
That's one. Did you give? And I think everything else may fall under that. Right?
Okay.
Something. Have a moment where have time, spending time, and spending time means it's quality time with that individual. And sometimes it could just last for about half an hour.
Okay.
Revisiting the relationship. Where are we? How are we doing? How do I feel about you? right? Something about partners in relationships, we get so accustomed to each other that we get so familiar, and so as life goes on, and then we forget that, okay, there is the other person, because we seem to sync, and each person not even sometimes realizing that they're drifting away.
Okay.
It's okay to have that dialogue. Thing. And lastly, behave as how you behaved when it started.
I love that one. So love, quality time, and that one kind of included communication.
That's
and
right.
number 3, don't just change up in the middle of, this is who I fell in love with, this is how you were at the beginning.
That's right.
You pull out all the stops and made the effort, continue on in that way.
Continue with that. When we meet first, you put on the best dress, you put on the best suit, you want to look good, whatever you presented to that person initially. All right?
Keep it up.
Yes, keep it up, develop. Sometimes we need to develop that person.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, right. What am I giving?
Yes.
To you? What am I presenting to you? Right?
Okay.
And it's go on a date. Sometimes we forget to date. We think that after after long-term relationship, we don't need to hang out as we did before. What are the special things you did before then?
Okay.
Right? Really matters.
That sounds good. And date each other. Those were some really, really good tips. And guess what? I have a surprise question for you. The person before always leaves a question for the next person. So we don't have a lot of time, so you have maybe like 45 seconds to answer this question. If you had unlimited financial resources, how different would your life look right now?
I personally believe it will look the same.
Okay.
I believe it will look the same.
Okay.
Unlimited finances doesn't give
Yes.
happiness. It contributes to it. It doesn't give happiness. It contributes to it.
Okay.
So I think I can rest assured to say it will be the same.
Okay. All right. Thank you so
pleasure.
much
You're welcome.
for being with us, Sydney, and for answering our important relationship questions. Thank you very much
You're welcome.
for your time. We'll be right back with you after the break. Welcome back. We had a beautiful conversation earlier, and now we will continue. We talked about the matter of intimacy. Intimacy is an important aspect of a relationship. Developing intimacy involves fostering emotional, physical, and spiritual connection. Here are 8 tips to increase intimacy. Number 1, effective communication. Open and honest communication is the foundation of intimacy. Share your thoughts, your feelings, and your desires with a partner. Be a good listener yourself and create a safe space for your partner to express him or herself without judgment. Number 2, quality time together. Dedicate meaningful time to spend together. Whether it's a date night, a weekend getaway, or simply just enjoying each other's company at home. Quality time strengthens the emotional bond between partners. Number 3, emotional vulnerability. Allow yourself to be emotionally vulnerable with your partner. Share your fears, your dreams, your insecurities. Creating a space for emotional openness fosters a deeper connection and understanding between partners. Number 4, physical affection. Physical touch is such a powerful way to increase intimacy. Simple gestures like holding hands, hugs, kisses, even cuddling contribute to a sense of closeness, and they strengthen the physical connection in the relationship. Number 5, shared activities. Engage in activities you both enjoy. It could be a hobby, it could be a sport, it could be cooking together. Participating in activities together enhances a sense of unity, and it creates shared memories. Number 6, expressing appreciation. Regularly express gratitude and appreciation for your partner. Acknowledge their efforts and achievements and the qualities you love about them. When your partner feels valued, it contributes to a positive and intimate relationship. Number 7, explore intimacy beyond the physical. Find connection in terms of your emotional connectedness, intellectual and spiritual aspects of intimacy. Engage in conversations that deepen your understanding of each other's thoughts, beliefs, and values. And number 8, maintain trust. Trust is fundamental to intimacy. Be reliable, be honest, and be consistent in your actions. Create an environment where both partners feel secure and can fully invest emotionally in the relationship. Time now for your golden nugget. It is not our purpose to become each other. It is to recognize each other, to learn to see the other and honor him for what he is. And that's a quote by Herman Hesse. When you're in a relationship, your goal is not to be the other person. Your goal is to see the other person, give respect, give value, give appreciation, be trustworthy, and hopefully you will be able to receive that from your partner also. Well, my friends, we have come to the end of this episode of Sessions with Koren. Check out our past episodes on YouTube, and remember to send in your questions and your comments. And I look forward to seeing you next week.